The government of Saudi Arabia arrested a prominent human rights advocate in this country, Samar Badawi, the sister of Raif Badawi, the famous blogger that is facing right now a sentence of 10 years and 1,000 lashes for his own blog asking for reform in Saudi Arabia. Now his sister is being arrested. She was called by a prosecutor, Sasha, in connection to her running the account of her former husband, Walid Abu al-Khair. Walid is serving a 15-year sentence for his own activism in the country, defending Raif Badawi's sentence, saying that it's unconstitutional and it shouldn't be, and also pushing this idea that Saudi Arabia needs reform to prevent these cases from happening. She was arrested, taken to the police station, then let go, then called back, and then now it's out on the equivalent of a bail in Saudi Arabia.
It's interesting. I remember this case about Raif where he got 50 lashes with the cane in a public square, and it was an outrage for people to see such an archaic and draconian sort of form of torture in regard to speaking freely. And it's a luxury that we here in America take for granted a lot of times, that we can be public critics of our government, that we can say these things against the people in power, and that we can just walk around on the streets freely.
Yeah, and it's not the case in Saudi Arabia, where he's still facing 950 lashes, and they're going to spread out in 10 years. Her now facing this mechanism in Saudi Arabia to silence dissent. Amnesty International is saying this is another move of the government just to quash and squash down any dissent, any motivation of the population to come out and speak against the abuses that they are victims of. And now we know that because she was allegedly managing the Twitter account of the former husband, she was called and questioned. She was famous on her own right because she was the very first woman in Saudi Arabia to sue against her guardian, in this case his father, to find the right to marry whoever she wanted. It was a big case. She was in jail 7 months, in the same jail that her former husband and brother are right now. She was there 7 months because she disobeyed her father.
And Saudi Arabia has been facing all sorts of violations from the UN Human Rights Committee when it comes to situations like this, the way that they torture people, the way that they don't promote an open and free democracy. But then also a lot of critics in these situations say that you can tell how open and progressive a society is by the way that they treat their women. And if this is any case, you know, we all know that Saudi Arabia is not, but you know, this is just adding fuel to that fire.
Exactly, and they just recently did some things that, you know, like they were some women that were able to vote and be elected in office. At the same time, she was one of the reasons this happened, because she was the first person, the first woman to sue the Saudi government in order to gain the right to vote. So she's always been very vocal, very active, trying to find a better way of living for women in Saudi Arabia. This whole family, the Badawis, they've been always very vocal, despite the fact that their father was really abusive to them. And that's part of her story. She was part of the U.S. State Department International Woman of Courage Award 2012. She met with Michelle Obama, with Hillary Clinton. She received the award for her job denouncing the abuses of the guardian power that occurs in Saudi Arabia. And now, unfortunately, the Saudi government decides to put her in jail for a few hours and let her go on bail. Now she will be facing further investigation, and we are waiting to see if the Saudi government is going to press any official charges.